What is going on, YouTube? This is Keith with Less Magic More Gathering, and today we are looking at our random card deck tech volume number 26. Our random card for the week was Aggressive Mammoth. Now, I was very close, very close to uploading a very boring Mono Green Stompy deck that any one of you could have taken any other Mono Green Stompy deck and thrown Aggressive Mammoth in and had the deck that I had put together, and I was very disappointed in myself for that. So I threw some other cards in here, went with a green-white kind of enchantment-based deck. You'll get to see it here in just a second. Let's take a look right now. Okay, like I said, our card we're working with was Aggressive Mammoth. Now, this is a hard card to build around as a main part of a deck because of what it does and what it costs. But it is a good creature. It's a 6-drop, 8/8 with trample. Gives all your other creatures trample as well. So being able to land one of these guys is definitely going to help us. And you'll see here, like I said, this is kind of an enchantment deck. You'll see here. So we got 2 Aggressive Mammoths in here. We don't necessarily want to hit one of these off of the initial draw. We want to pick this up later in the game when we've got a good base of creatures on the battlefield already. We can drop an Aggressive Mammoth and start trampling in with some big damage. We've also got 3 copies of Danitha, Capuchin Paragon. Capuchin Paragon, whatever you want to say. I don't know. She is going to make all of our auras cost 1 less. She also affects equipment, but that doesn't apply to this deck. 2/2, First Strike, Vigilance, and Lifelink. So she is a good base creature to start building on. And once you get her pumped up, she can be a mess for your opponent if they don't get rid of her. We've also got 3 copies of Druid of the Horns. This is a 4-drop 2/3, and whenever you cast an aura spell that targets Druid of Horns, you get to create a 3/3 green beast creature token. So with all the enchantment auras that we've got in this deck, we're able to create a lot of 3/3 green beast creature tokens, which is good for blocking, which is good for attacking if we get to the point where we've got a good base of creatures and we can swing in for a lot. So there's only 17 creatures in the deck, but Druid of the Horns is in testing that I did was able to pump out 2, 3, 4, 5 beast tokens every game. So that's a way that we can increase our creature base. We got 3 copies of Llanowar Elves just because the Aggressive Mammoth can be pretty expensive, and Llanowar Elves is really cheap. And I've landed some of these enchantment auras on Llanowar Elves and had a very powerful Llanowar Elves. It's kind of strange to use Llanowar Elves to swing in for lethal damage on somebody, but if you get the right stuff on them, it's not too hard. We've also got Satire Enchanter. Satire Enchanter is a 3-drop 2/2, and whenever you cast an enchantment spell, draw a card. This is going to tie right along here with Sram Senior Edificer. He's a 2-drop 2/2. Whenever you cast an aura, equipment, or vehicle spell, draw a card. So we get some of these on the battlefield, and we can really start getting some really good card advantage when we start casting out some of our enchantments. So I've been saying this is an enchantment-based type deck. So you got the creature base here. We've got Danith that'll make things cheaper. We've got Satire Enchanter and Sram to help us draw some cards. We've got Druid of Horns to create some extra creatures for us, and Llanowar Elves to help us ramp up into our big Aggressive Mammoth that we were working with initially. So what are we going to do with those? We've got 2 copies of each of these. We've got 2 copies of Blanchwood Armor, 3-drop. It gets a +1/+1 for each forest you control. We've got 2 copies of Cartouche of Solidarity. That's only a 1-drop. Gives your creature for whatever it's enchanting +1/+1 and First Strike. And you also get to create a 1/1 white warrior creature token with Vigilance. Then we've also got 2 copies of the Cartouche of Strength. Now this is sometimes going to be used as a form of removal. If you get a smaller creature out there and then put a couple of cartouches on it, you can really start removing some bigger stuff. and handling your opponent's board a little bit. So not only are you going to be able to get the +1/+1 and trample, but when it enters the battlefield, you may have the enchanted creature fight target creature an opponent controls. So if they've got something that you just can't handle, but you want to make yours a little bit bigger, you don't have to fight. But if it would benefit you, feel free. We've got 2 copies of Oaken Form. It's a 3-drop. Enchanted creature gets +3/+3. We've got 2 copies of On Sarah's Wings. This one's a 4-drop. Enchanted creature is legendary, gets +1/+1, and has flying, vigilance, and lifelink. So you got to be careful with this one, because if you put a legendary... Well, I don't know. Maybe somebody can answer that in the comments below. If you put this on a non-legendary creature, let's say a Llanowar Elves, and you happen to have 2 Llanowar Elves out there, do you have to get rid of one of them, or do you only have to get rid of one of them if they are both legendary? I think they have to be both legendary, because on the card Helm of the Host, it creates a copy of a creature, and it says specifically that the copy is not legendary. So I'm thinking that if you put On Sarah's Wings on something that is not already legendary, you can still have multiple copies of that. As long as you don't end up with 2 copies of, let's say, Satire Enchanter that have On Sarah's Wings attached to them, I think you should be fine. And finally, we've got 2 copies of Squire's Devotion. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 and lifelink. And when it enters the battlefield, you create a 1/1 white vampire creature token with lifelink. So as you can see, with Danitha, On Sarah's Wings, Squire's Devotion, we've got some decent life gain in here, and that was very important during some of the testing that I was doing. That life gain was able to keep us alive long enough that we were able to get some enchantments pumped out, start getting a serious card advantage with the Satire Enchanter and Shram, and finish our opponent that way. Now, to finish off the deck, we've got 4 copies of Blossoming Defense. This is just because, especially with things like the Aggressive Mammoth, when your opponents see that come out, they're going to try to kill it. So it's good to have a 1-drop that you can use to make that thing hexproof. And if you start getting one of your creatures built up with 3 or 4 enchantments on it, you want to be able to protect that so you don't lose your creature and all the enchantments attached to it. And as another source of removal to go along with the Cartouche of Strength, we've got Rabid Bite. It's a 2-drop. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control. So it's kind of a one-way prey upon or, fight mechanic, but your creature won't take any damage from it. So if you've got lifelink or something like that, it's a good way to save yourself sometimes. Just do a Rabid Bite. Even if you're not trying to kill a creature, you can sometimes get in for some big damage and gain some of that life back if you're using a lifelink creature. Finally, our land base here is pretty simple, really. We got 10 forest and 8 plains, and then we've got 4 copies of Sun Petal Grove and 4 copies of Tranquil Expanse. So super fun deck. During the testing that I built this on Arena, and I played some games in the Brewers, whatever the heck it's called, the janky deck format on there, and I went 3-1 twice. So got my 3 wins there. That was good. It seems like it's a good deck, plays well. I don't know how well it would do against a very competitive deck, but it is a fun deck to play, and you can really get some big creatures out there, and then you drop in the Aggressive Mammoth on top of that and give everything trample, and sometimes that's all it takes to finish the game. So I hope you enjoyed the deck here. Let's go down and take a look at the price for this thing. This one's a budget deck. Card Kingdom. You can get this bad boy on Card Kingdom right now for only $38.42. It's $55 on TCG Player, so if you want to get it, hop on Card Kingdom right meow and see if you can still get it for that price. Click the link down below that'll bring you to our tapped out page, and you can go right down here, click on this Card Kingdom link, and get this deck for only $38. So that's a steal. Some of these cards, let's look. Cartouche of Solidarity, Cartouche of Strength. They're going to be rotating out. What in the creatures is going to be rotating out? Looks like just Shram. Blossoming Defense is obviously going to be gone. But everything else, I think, yeah, everything else is good and still going to be in standard. So there's bound to be some good replacements for those cards once things rotate. So this one might be good, worth putting together now, and then find some good cards to replace those that are going to be rotating out come October. So again, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the deck. Let me know down below in the comments section what you think of it, how you would build around the Aggressive Mammoth, what you might do differently. I guess that's all I got this time. Hope you enjoyed it. See you next time. Deuces. Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, come down here and press this thumbs up button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit that bell to turn on notifications so that you'll see when we post new content. If you got anything to say, hit us up down here in the comments section. We always love hearing feedback and comments from people that are watching. Let us know what you think. See you next time.